Will you take me out in a trotting wagon with Puck?
On my honor as a gentleman.
And come every single day?
See if I don't.
And bring me back the minute, Beth, as well?
The identical minute.
And go to the theater, truly?
A dozen theaters, if we may.
Well, I guess I will then,
said Amy slowly. Good girl. Call Meg and tell her you'll give in, said Laurie with an approving pat, which annoyed Amy more than the giving in. Meg and Joe came running down to behold the miracle which had been wrought, and Amy, feeling very precious and self-sacrificing, promised to go if the doctor said Beth was going to be ill. How is the little dear? Asked Laurie, for Beth was his especial pet, and he felt more anxious about her than he liked to show. She is lying down on Mother's bed and feels better. The baby's death troubled her, but I dare say she has only got cold. Hannah says she thinks so, but she looks worried, and that makes me fidgety, answered Meg. What a trying world it is, said Joe, rumpling up her hair in a fretful sort of way. No sooner do we get out of one trouble than down comes another. There doesn't seem to be anything to hold on to when Mother's gone, so I'm all at sea. Well, don't make a porcupine of yourself. It isn't becoming. Settle your wig, Joe, and tell me if I shall telegraph to your mother or do anything, asked Laurie, who never had been reconciled to the loss of his friend's one beauty. That is what troubles me, said Meg. I think we ought to tell her if Beth is really ill, but Hannah says we mustn't, for Mother can't leave Father, and it will only make them anxious. Beth won't be sick long, and Hannah knows just what to do, and Mother said we were to mind her, so I suppose we must, but it doesn't seem quite right to me. Well, I can't say. Suppose you ask Grandfather after the doctor has been. We will. Joe, go and get Dr. Bangs at once, commanded Meg. We can't decide anything till he has been. Stay where you are, Joe. I'm the errand boy to this establishment, said Laurie, taking up his cap. I'm afraid you are busy, began Meg. No, I've done my lessons for the day. Do you study in vacation time? Asked Joe. I followed the good example my neighbors set me, was Laurie's answer as he swung himself out of the room. I have great hopes of my boy, observed Joe, watching him fly over the fence with an approving smile. He does very well for a boy, was Meg's somewhat ungracious answer, for the subject did not interest her. Dr. Banks came, said Beth had symptoms of the fever, but thought she would have it lightly, though he looked sober over the Hummel story. Amy was ordered off at once, and provided with something to ward off danger, she departed in great state with Joe and Laurie as escort. Aunt March received them with her usual hospitality.
What do you want now?
She asked, looking sharply over her spectacles, while the parrot, sitting on the back of her chair, called out,
Go away. No boys allowed here.
Laurie retired to the window, and Joe told her story.
No more than I expected if you are allowed to go poking about among poor folk. Amy can stay and make herself useful if she isn't sick, which I've no doubt she will be. It looks like it now. Don't cry, child. It worries me to hear people sniff.
Amy was on the point of crying, but Laurie slyly pulled the parrot's tail, which caused Polly to utter an astonished croak and call out,
Bless my boots,
in such a funny way that she laughed instead.
Oh, what do you hear from your mother?
Asked the old lady gruffly. Father is much better, replied Joe, trying to keep sober.
Oh, is he? Well, that won't last long, I fancy. March never had any stamina,
was the cheerful reply.
Ha, never say die. Take a pinch of snuff. Goodbye, goodbye,
squalled Polly, dancing on his perch and clawing on the old lady's cap as Laurie tweaked them in the rear.
Hold your tongue, you disrespectful old bird. And, Joe, you'd better go at once. It isn't proper to be gadding about so late with a rattle-pated boy like... Hold your tongue, you disrespectful old bird, cried Polly, tumbling off the chair with a bounce and running to peck the rattle-pated boy, who was shaking with laughter at the last speech. I don't think I can bear it, but I'll try,
thought Amy as she was left alone with Aunt March.
Get along, you fright, screamed Polly, and at that rude speech Amy could not restrain a sniff.